Hello! Today we are weaving one more flower. It is a bit more complicated than the one we've shown in the previous masterclass, but it is rather interesting in a way too, for larger compositions. My fascination with flowers is not only due to the beauty of summertime nature, but also because my husband has started creating wooden vases. Every time he brings along a new vase, it inspires me to fill it with something nice looking. Every time I'm afraid to simplify the vase with my paper flowers, since I feel admiration for natural materials. But my imagination does fly and makes me long for creating flowers. I believe we are going to put natural compositions in these vases too. Anyway, I feel like weaving flowers. So one more flower for today. In order to make such a flower, I need 4 tubes for one petal. Moreover, I'm going to join 2 of them. Perform deep lengthening. Got it? Then I soften the tubes. After which I repeat all the same steps as at the beginning of the previous masterclass. The beginning of the herringbone pattern. 1, 2, and 3. And tuck in the top tube underneath. Just the same way I started weaving a petal in the previous masterclass. Here it is. Raise 2 central tubes. Lead the joined tubes in the middle. And start entwining with the working tube. From the one side and the other side. In this case, I'm trying to do it tightly, pushing the coils closer to avoid gaps. This is one of the options of weaving such a petal. Let's call it tight entwining. In order to make a petal more or less long, I have lengthened the tube by joining 2 tubes together. I have made a joint in the center to make it invisible. Well, that will do for the one side. And in the same way I perform entwining from the opposite side. At the very beginning you have to be very careful because of the joint. Make sure the tubes don't slide apart. Further, you can feel more relaxed while entwining. Place the coils tight to each other. It is the first option of such entwining. I'm getting a petal like this, and I unite it in the same very way. Drop some glue, take a clothing clip, and form a petal neatly. Press. That's all. Let the petal dry. So all the 5 petals are ready. They look like little octopi. Before starting to assemble the flower, I'd like to show you one more option of the same flower. It is just a little bit different. What's the difference? We can make petals not tight but airy, like in this flower. What do we need for this purpose? We take 3 tubes instead of 4 and make the same steps 1, 2, 3, 4 and place 1 tube without lengthening in the center. Now, when embracing the tubes, make coils not right up to each other, but aslant, in which case half of a tube will be enough to coil around one side of a petal. Take a look at what I'm getting, please. In the first option, we were putting the coils close to each other. In this case, we are placing them obliquely. And the same from the other side. 1, 2, 3, slantwise, 4. Make a few coils until the end of the working tube. And in the same way form and unite a petal neatly. As a result, I get such airy petals. You can compare 2 options. Let's fancy about a flower core as well. In the previous flower we were making a core by means of spiral weaving. At this time let's make it like this. What do we need for this? Take a tube, soften it, I've already done, and tie knots. This way. Tighten, tie a knot. Got it. Let's tie the next knot. If your intervals between the knots are not equal, it doesn't matter. These elements can have legs of different lengths. So I've got 3 knots here and one more tube with 3 knots. Cut off the tops neatly. 1, 2. Here I've got 3 cores and 3 more. 1, 2, and the last one, 3. So I got such cores. Now insert them into the center and start. Well, you can make them of various lengths, adjust the levels to your liking. We are going to distribute them like this. And start tying the petals to them. You can level the tails of the petals too this way. Now take a thread and start assembling the flower. I've got the first one. Cut off the excessive tails a bit. Tie the second petal to the core. And so on. Well, I don't see any point in showing you the whole process of assembling in detail. can watch it on the example of the previous flower. I'll share the link in the description. Both the process of assembling and stem forming are identical. The only difference is in the way we weave petals, which I've shown you. The only thing left is to join the fourth and the fifth petals. As a result, all the 5 petals will form such a flower. So I've got such a flower. You are welcome to watch how to put it onto the stem in the previous masterclass. I wish you to enjoy the inspiration to create flowers.